This is Science Max, Experiments at Large. Science Max!
This science is delicious. This is rock candy. It's basically crystallized sugar, and you make it by turning a solid into a liquid and then back to a solid again. Here's how you can make it at home. You need a container that you're not going to need for a while, and some water, some sugar. You can use brown or white. I like to use brown. And an adult. Here's why you need an adult. You want to dissolve 3 cups of sugar into every cup of water, and you can't do that unless you heat the water. So get an adult, a saucepan, and heat the water up, pour the sugar in, and keep stirring until it's all dissolved. Then pour it in your container and let it cool down. Then you'll need a shish kebab skewer, which is something you can get at the grocery store. Cut it down to the right size so it fits nicely into your container, and then dunk it in your sugar and get some crystals coated around the stick. These are seed crystals, and they get the whole process started. And now you have to wait for these to dry, otherwise they'll just fall off the stick when you put it in the water. So I've got one here that has dried out. You'll also want something to keep it from falling in the top of the container, so I'm going to use a clothespin. Put it in there and dunk it in the container like that. And now for the final step, if you want, you can add food coloring. I like to use red because it reminds me of science. And I'm going to use the stick to actually stir that up a little bit. There we go. Now, the dissolved sugar crystals in the water will slowly grow on the crystals that are already attached to the stick, and it will eventually grow into a rock candy pop. But it takes about a week. No, I'm just kidding. I've already got one that's standing by. Here we go. This one has been growing for about 7 days. And there you go, rock candy. Delicious science. Now, how can we make this any better? I mean, it's crystallized sugar. It doesn't get any more maxed out than that, does it? Yeah, it does. Come on. This is a giant container of sugar water, and I've been brewing a massive rock candy crystal in it for a while, but it's sort of getting a little bit too big to fit out the top of the container, so you know what? I'm just gonna put that back in there and chalk that one up to science because, well, eating a rock candy crystal that big would definitely not be good for my teeth, so yeah. This is liquid nitrogen. Nitrogen makes up most of the air we breathe, but if you get it really, really cold, it turns into a liquid. The fun thing is you can use it to make other things really, really cold too, like this banana. I have frozen this banana solid thanks to the liquid nitrogen, and normally a mushy banana would not be able to hammer in a nail, but, whoa, because it's frozen, I can hammer this nail into this block of wood. So that got me wondering, if I can turn a banana into a hammer using liquid nitrogen, could I turn a pumpkin into a sledgehammer? Let's find out. Pumpkin sledgehammer, take 1. No, I think the answer is no. You cannot turn a pumpkin into a sledgehammer with liquid nitrogen. All you can do is make a really, really big mess. I'm gonna have to clean this up, aren't I? Greetings, Science Maximites! My name is Phil and welcome to Science Max Experiments at Large. Today we're gonna be looking at air pressure and friction and simple machines like levers, pulleys, and gears. We're gonna look at some rotational energy, some spring tension, and gravity. We need all those things because we're building Rube Goldberg machines! Rube Goldberg machines! Rube Goldberg machines! Rube Goldberg machines! Rube Goldberg, you heard me say Rube Goldberg machine? Okay, we got that part? Okay, good. Rube Goldberg was a cartoonist who came up with the idea of having a simple task done by a machine that was extremely complicated. There are Rube Goldberg competitions all over the world, and there's only a few rules. First, a human can only touch it once by starting the whole thing off, and then the machine has to work all on its own. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Phil, what's the science behind a Rube Goldberg machine? Well, it's all about changing energy. Remember, you start the whole thing off with just a little push. But if you want the machine to keep going and going and going, you have to come up with clever ways to add more energy to the system so you've got more energy to keep the machine going. So check this out. A bunch of stacked dominoes, which will start a chain reaction that leads to this mousetrap, which has all of its energy stored in the spring tension, which will release the ball. Boing! Check this one out. It's a bunch of pulleys, and there's a rope that goes up and down and up, attached to this lever where there's a ball, and there's a big heavy weight here. And when the weight gets knocked off the table, the ball falls into the hole and then goes down the tube, and so on. Check this one out. Here's a great way to change the direction of something. Say the ball falls on this lever. Well, it's weighted on this end, but then the weight falls off and the ball goes this way. Sonia has added one more step to our Rube Goldberg machine, a stomp rocket. It's a hammer rocket.
Exactly.
I like
so
that.
what's gonna happen is the hammer is gonna hit our bottle, which is gonna release all that air that's built up inside of it. It's gonna hit that button.
Wait. The rocket hits the button.
And then we get some
Cake!
cake.
Oh, so this is it. So we're done the Rube Goldberg machine with this last step.
Okay.
Do you want to do it?
I think we should do it.
Ready?
Ready?
3, 2, 1. Oh. Let's pause here just before the cake portal's in and recap the science. A marble on top of this ramp has potential energy. As it rolls down, that changes to kinetic energy, which transfers to some stacked dominoes. They fall in a chain reaction, finally causing bigger and bigger dominoes to fall, giving the last domino enough mass to pull a string, attached through some pulleys, to a quick release on a trebuchet. Now, a trebuchet is a first-class lever, with a weight on one side and a sling and a ball on the other. If the weight falls, the sling releases the ball at the right moment and it sails through the air. It's caught in a garbage can and changes directions on a few ramps and another lever as a teeter-totter. Finally, it falls onto a rat trap, which has more energy stored in the tension of the spring. The rat trap smacks another lever, which flips around, turning over some antacid rockets. This allows the antacid to mix with the water and start a chemical reaction that produces carbon dioxide, which eventually builds up enough pressure to fire the container to another lever, which tips, dropping some marbles on a string attached to a switch. That turns off the electricity to our electromagnet. And when an electromagnet doesn't have electricity, it stops being a magnet. So our sledgehammer starts to fall. Now, our sledgehammer is heavy, so it has both mass and speed when it hits this plastic bottle. All that inertia crushes the bottle, reducing its volume. The air gets put under pressure and pushes out through a tube, which takes our stomp rocket with it. The stomp rocket flies through the air and hits our cake button, which then portals in some cake. Guess we really didn't think that through, huh? The cake should have landed on a table or something.
Table would have been nice.
There you go, Science Max Experiments at Large, Rube Goldberg machine. Are you sure you don't want some of this cake?
No, let's
Let's
go.
This is a balloon, and this is an orange. When you put them together, a chemical reaction happens. How'd you go in there for a minute, didn't I? No? No? All right. Well, you can actually do a chemical reaction between a balloon and an orange. You see, balloons are made of latex, which is a kind of polymer that's very, very stretchy. And orange peels contain a chemical called limonene. Limonene breaks down latex. So, we have 3 questions. The first is, why does this happen? Well, like I said, it's all chemistry. You see, balloons are made of polymers, chains of molecules held together by chemical bonds. A limonene molecule attacks those bonds. Nom nom nom, nom nom nom, nom nom nom, delicious. And breaks it, that separates the polymers, and that pops the balloon. But remember, it only works with natural latex. So make sure you're using natural latex balloons. Second question, why do they call it limonene when it's in orange peels? I mean, yes, it's in lime peels and lemon peels, but the chemical itself smells like oranges. They should call it orangenine or citrus fruitinide or... Anyway, third question, should we max it out? Of course we should, come on. 200 balloons versus 2 bottles of limonene. Ready? Go! And I'm a base, and we are enemies. Whoa. Well, we're not really enemies. Yeah, that's true. It's all about how we react chemically. You see, as an acid, I really want to give protons away. Protons, who needs your protons? Get your protons here. Protons, I got more than I want. I don't need them anymore. And bases, we need protons. We'll do anything to get them. Protons, you can protons away. I'll take some protons. You think that when you get these two together, you'd have some pretty great chemistry. But the truth is, when they're together, they often don't react. Whoa. That is until water gets involved. Once you have water, acids and bases react. Whoa. Here, take some protons. All your bases belong to us. Here you go. Take some protons. I don't need it. More. I want more. I want more protons. Here. Water is a solvent, allowing the chemical reactions to take place. Depending on the strength of the acids and bases, that reaction can be mild. Would you like a proton? Oh, no, really, I could. Please take it. Oh, well, thank you, that's very generous. Have another. No, perhaps, maybe I will. Here's one. Okay, maybe just one. But if the acids and bases are strong, the chemical reaction can be really extreme. This is what's going on in the antacid tablet, and why, without water, nothing happens. Oh, water! Water! Come on! What'd you do? What? Greetings, Science Maximites. My name is Phil, and today on Science Max Experiments at Large, we are using mousetraps, but I cannot find my mousetraps, so it's gonna be a little hard to do the experiment unless I have... Oh, hey, here they are. Oh yeah, I stored them preset. Why would I do that? Okay, well, that's fine. Anyway, today we, careful, are going to be using mousetraps. Like I said, we are going to be using mousetraps. Mousetraps as a form of propulsion. That's the force that makes things go, and we are going to be making a boat go. And what is the thing that's going to make this boat go? A mouse. Oh, it's not set. Sorry, I'm really jumpy. Anyway, we're gonna be using a mousetrap. And don't worry, no mice are gonna be harmed in the making of this or any Science Max episode, but mousetraps are really great because they can store energy in the spring. If you see, there's a spring that makes this bar want to snap back, but we can put energy into the spring and store it and then use that energy as it unwinds the spring to propel our boat. But it's a little more complicated than just this, so come on, I'll show you. What we're gonna do is build this. This is the mousetrap boat, and it works like this. I've got the mousetrap, and it's attached to a long arm. That arm has a string on it, and it goes around the paddle wheel, and as the mousetrap unwinds, the paddle wheel spins like that, which pushes the boat forward. Now, it looks kind of complicated, but it's actually quite simple to make, and here's what you need. My mousetrap boat is made with styrofoam, craft sticks, and elastics. You'll also want a pencil, plastic drink caps, a shish kebab skewer, small zip ties, string, and of course your mousetrap. Now, mousetraps can hurt your fingers, so get an adult to help you when you use them. Start with 2 pieces of styrofoam. I like to cut mine into this shape, but the only really important thing is that they're the same size. Your paddle wheel is made from a circle of styrofoam with it penciled through the middle, and it will go across like this. To make the paddle wheel, I use cut pieces of craft stick. or they can be plastic, and make some cuts and then put them in like this, and that is what will make your paddles on the paddle wheel, because that's the wheel and that's the paddle wheel. That's why they call it that. Stick drink caps to the ends of the pencil after sticking it through the styrofoam. I like to use a few craft sticks and elastics to help give the styrofoam strength. Next is the mousetrap, which you want to glue down to a frame of 4 craft sticks. Attach the frame to the boat with elastics, then attach the shish kebab skewer or a pencil to the mousetrap with zip ties. I like to put some craft sticks on the end to make it easier to tie the string to it. Wrap the other end around the paddle wheel pencil, and remember you need enough string so that your stick can lie flat. Okay, let's try it out. Wind up the paddle wheel. This will be a little hard as the spring will pull back, but that's where you're storing the energy. And when it's wound up, put it in the water and let it go. The paddle wheel turns because the mousetrap is transferring energy that we put in earlier, and it goes all the way. We stored the energy in the tension of the spring. Now that tension is pulling the mousetrap, the stick, and the string, which turns the paddle wheel and makes the boat go. Mousetrap-powered boat! If you want more detailed instructions or other designs, look up Mousetrap Boat.